In this video, I'm going to share with you the second of 3 external influences that impacts every marriage and family relationship. It's called societal decrease in empathy. I'm also going to show you how to counter that decrease in empathy through a simple family meal. My name is Mark Jala, and I'm the founder of Cook Talk Love. This video is a segment from a much larger and comprehensive 2-part video series you can get from our website, cooktalklove.com, or from our Facebook page. I hope this video serves you and brings you the information you need to have loving, passionate, and peaceful family relationships. Enjoy. Number 2, decreased empathy, a narcissism epidemic. Wikipedia defines empathy as this: empathy is the capacity to recognize feelings that are being experienced by another person. Someone may have a certain amount of empathy before they are able to feel compassion. They also explain it this way: caring for other people and having a desire to help them, to experiencing emotions that match another person's emotions, to knowing what the other person is thinking or feeling, to blurring the line between self and others. So empathy is how do we think about the feelings of other people. And what we're finding today is very, very sad. We're finding that a 40% decrease in college students. And this was a 2010 study, and most of that decrease happened in the last 10 years. Now, empathy is learned from parents and other people. They see it. So what we are exposed to, do we see the TV characters we watch? Are they exhibiting empathy, or are they to get a laugh, to get humor? Are they showing a lack of empathy? And we laugh it off, but it's one of those things that slowly erodes on ourselves, learning it from other people. So this is something that we need to exhibit and show ourselves, and we can start turning this around. Studies are showing that this decreased empathy, this narcissism epidemic, is due to decreased reading, especially fiction. So by not reading things, and not just the erotica books, was it 50 Shades of Grey and some of these other books, but reading things where you can associate with the characters, a good fictional drama, things like that, where you could start to have one of the great ways is to get people reading within the family. So we know that when folks don't read, and especially fiction, there's going to be increased chances of decreased empathy. Another reason has been attributed is due to a less structured activities or unstructured activities and more TV. Growing up as a child, when I grew up, on Facebook, there's that humorous thing that I see it posted every once in a while, and it gets rehashed quite often. When I grew up, we had one activity, and it was called outside. Well, there was a lot to say about that. There's a lot to say about playing outside with other people, because there you started to develop social skills. By getting out there with other folks, you're seeing good and bad. You sometimes you come back crying because somebody did something to you, but it's a learning experience, because then another time you come back and you're happy and you're having a great time. That was playing with kids outside at the park, or just neighborhood kids doing stuff, is an unstructured activity. Today we're structuring so much more. After school you will have soccer, then baseball, basketball. We're planning it all out. And you're sitting kids in front of TV to be the babysitter, and they're watching, as even Sesame Street and some of that stuff, it's still just playing TV. They're observing, they're not getting involved, and that's one of the key things. And today we all see it. There's an overdose of impersonal social media. When you see pictures of teenagers gathered around and they're all on their phones texting other people, sometimes texting each other, it's mind-boggling. So all of this is building this trend of decreased empathy. So what happens when this happens? When we have this 40% decrease in empathy, and it's continuing. What are the results of this? Well, the first, bullying. And bullying is not just with kids. Adults bully. Adults do this. Look at parents at sports events. Look how often, sometimes how they act at that. Family members sometimes will bully other family members. In the extended family, they will bully others. It leads to frustration and anger. It leads to a lack of communication. So see this, studies are showing that a decrease in empathy leads to a lack of communication. Yet one of the leading causes of divorce, the first external relationship, was a lack of communication. These influences are interrelated. This is one of the key things to understand. They're not just something that happens and they're out there and they may or may not impact you. Collectively, they have this wearing down, and unless we do something to counter it, it has an impact. And we see this with the results of these trends and patterns that are not interrupted. Decreased empathy leads to self-centeredness. More self-centeredness leads to more problems in relationships. It leads to a lack of a healthy emotional core. And that is fundamental. That how is one supposed to have a healthy relationship with another person and with their children if they don't have a healthy emotional core? If they don't care, how are you going to be in a good, happy, and successful relationship long term when your spouse, your partner, doesn't care about how you feel, doesn't care about what's happening to you in your life? And unfortunately, this is increasing at very alarming rates. So how do we counter decreased empathy? We counter it with a display of affection in front of children. Now, to display affection oftentimes requires to find love and affection within ourselves first, and then share it. So we need to display this in front of children so they know that it's okay to express, to hug the children, to kiss the children, to kiss the partner, the spouse, to show affection amongst yourselves. That's very important, so that children see that it's okay to hold hands. It's okay to hug and to show that the love and caring for one another. And before you can do that, oftentimes you need to find it within yourself first and then share it. We need to be tolerant of differences. This day and age, going out to the blogosphere and Twitter and Facebook, you just see so much where there is a lack of tolerance, political tolerance, over all kinds of issues. There's just people are looking to be right more than they are looking to be to have a good conversation. They're looking to prove someone else wrong, but that's not being tolerant. And tolerance these days is in short supply. And so this is something that we definitely have to work on. We need to strive to be tolerant of other people. One of the ways to counter is to start a family book club and discuss feelings of the characters. So if it's just you and your spouse, you and your partner, read a book together. Then talk about the characters. When such and such an action happened to Bob, that there's one character, how do you think that made him feel? Talk about the feelings of the characters. Talk about the motivations, why they did certain things. Talk about why did they do one thing but not another. Those kinds of things, when you talk about it from books, and especially when you're talking about fictional books, that's where you can really get into things. And then have books for the children. Get the children reading. Get them off of the TV and more into books. But when they do watch TV, discuss the feelings of characters in TVs and movies. Big one is that came out not too long ago, was the Avengers. Very popular movie. A lot of characters, a lot of dialogue, a lot of dynamics happen there. So you could talk about Captain America's feelings or attitudes towards Tony Stark, the Iron Man. You can go into a lot of things there. So if you see these movies or you see the TV shows that they're watching, take time during the meals. That's what then one of the next things we'll be talking about. But discuss those kinds of things with them. One of the studies that just shocks me when it comes to parents and children is the one that, and it's been very consistent year after year when they do these studies, that the average parent only spends 38 and a half minutes of meaningful conversation with their children per week. Now, we're not talking about meaningful is not what did you do today, and just having them say, well, nothing. So it's asking them more about, talking about the feelings, talking to them about respect, talking to them about, what are you going to do better next time to win in that game, or to do stuff, to talk to them about meaningful stuff. That's, 38 and a half minutes a week is nothing. So having mealtime to talk about meaningful things is going to have dramatic differences. So countering with the family meal. The first thing, always start with respect. Build up respect. Build up self-esteem of those at the table with you. Discuss books, TVs, movies. Ask about feelings of characters. Do the same when discussing work and friends. So even when you're just talking about work, instead of just saying what happened, go into about perhaps why that happened, or how did someone feel when they didn't get that promotion, or when they got moved to a different department, or when someone got let go. Ask, go into a little more detail. When you're talking with friends, take the lead. Take a leadership role in countering these external relationships, not just within your own family, but with others also. When you're talking with work friends, and you're talking with just your neighbors and social friends, talk to them about these kinds of things. Help them with their relationships. Be a leader in this, and you'll be amazed at some of the results that can happen.